right?
Hey family, how are you doing?
I'm about to show y'all something.
So now you got 3 content creators. Let's see what we get.
Let's see what we get.
Look at this. Look at this sangria.
We'll combine the numbers. All right, y'all, check this out. Here with 2 beautiful women. Y'all know her. Miss Toddré from Blacks to Africa. We are here. And Miss Rochelle from For the Culture.
You guys know me too.
Yes, y'all know her. Absolutely, you know her. We are out here having a good old time. We're going to be talking just organically, y'all.
Yes.
If you are not following them, please go to Blacks to Africa and go subscribe to her YouTube page, as well as For the Culture. Go subscribe right now. All right?
How are you guys doing?
Do I have any mods in?
Welcome
We
in,
already got
welcome
people
in.
already starting to talk crazy. Any of my mods?
I watched both of you. Glad to see the collab.
Oh, that's amazing.
Somebody said all 3. I love it.
How are you?
Let's go.
I love it.
I got a mod up in there. Thank you, Miss Shanice.
Yes,
Get him out of there.
I'm sitting here with the fabulous Kia Marquesha Simmons from Traverse Culture and the fabulous Beauty is Universal Toddré.
Got you.
Yes.
Stuff in my mouth.
Amazing company
Stuff in
on
my
this
face.
beautiful Sunday. How are you guys doing? Thank you for the likes.
Let's say, hey, ladies.
Yes.
Y'all look at them.
First of all,
Amazing.
How was
I was
the food?
getting hangry because I had eaten all day.
Uh-huh.
And it's after 1 o'clock. It's like 2
Hey,
o'clock.
family.
Yeah, it's 2:26.
How are you guys doing? What time is it? Where you are in the
Tell them
world?
where you from. Somebody was asking where you from.
I'm from Los Angeles, California. With my mouth. So sorry. I'm from LA.
She's from LA. And how long you been here in Kenya?
4 years.
4 years, y'all. Crazy. Miss Rochelle, where are you from?
Born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yes. How long you been in Kenya?
I've been living in Kenya for 1 year. One
But-
beautiful year.
You've been everywhere.
Right. I've been all over the continent. Yes, multiple continents. But I chose Kenya to settle in, and I love it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, okay.
Tell us where you're from and how
Yes,
long you've been in
Y'all
Kenya.
already know I'm from the Charleston, South Carolina, of the Gullah Geechee culture. Shout out to the 843. I've been coming back and forth here for 14 years. Started living here about 3 or 4 years off and on, 6 months at a time, and then here now permanently. So
Where did that
yeah,
accent come from?
child, we talked about this earlier today, that I am not from New York. I am from Charleston, South Carolina, okay? But I went up there and mimicked them because people would tease me about my Gullah Geechee accent. And so in order to get rid of it, I mimicked them so much so that I took on the whole New York accent. And the 757 is my second home, Virginia. So yeah. Yeah.
You know, one of the things I wanted to ask you about that I didn't on my show was the Gullah Geechee culture. Like, I didn't learn about it until I moved to the East Coast. Can you tell me a little bit more about the culture and how it is connected to Africa?
Yeah, so we were talking about this on live earlier about the Gullah Geechee culture and it being a African-rooted culture that we were able to preserve and cultivate in North America, mainly in the Low Country area, but the corridor starts from St. Augustine, Florida, all the way to Wilmington, North Carolina. But I ain't gonna argue with nobody. The real rich Gullah Geechee culture is in the Low Country, Charleston, St. Buford, St. Helena area. So yeah, we have our own language, our own dialect called the Gullah or Geechee. Our own food, where we have our own jollof rice. We have our own pilau, which is Hop and John. We have our own dance history, everything. Yeah, the Gullah Geechee. Yeah.
Originally from West Africa, but you actually have some Luo ancestry,
Yeah,
right?
27.7% Luo.
27.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, they say we're Luos or we're Nilordic, Nilords, which are predominantly nomadic people moving up and down the Nile across the continent. So yeah, and then but I am 33% Ishan, Nigerian. So that's the Benin Edo State, which I had the great opportunity to go to in February and see my culture. Yeah. Yes, get y'all on there.
And what DNA test did you use to identify this?
Oh yes.
There's so many.
Yeah, so I did use CRI genetics.
Okay.
It is a European-based DNA. We did this specifically because one, they have a larger database and non-biased. What I started to see with African ancestry is that they have full-on contracts with some African countries. And so a lot of people coming back Sierra Leone, but why are they coming back Sierra Leone? They were giving out citizenship and pouring money into the country. Why a lot of people coming back Ghanaian, Nigeria, all this. Well, Nigeria don't have a contract, but Sierra Leone, Ghana, places like that.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Yes, they have contracts with them. So we did use a white-owned CRI genetic.
Hey Nathaniel, how are you?
What y'all got?
Yes, I'm here with the beautiful Kia.
Y'all anybody?
Toddré.
Yes, we recommend living in Kenya. Okay, so
Beautiful Saturday. How are you guys? Happy Saturday. Good morning.
Hello, beautiful.
Yes. Oh wow, that looks amazing. Let me put on this food. Wow.
Thank you.
Lamb chop.
Take the break, you know, play with the food.
Jumbo on it. How are you?
Wow.
Eating luxury.
Yes.
Some mushroom sauce.
Enjoy your
With our amazing sangria.
We got our sangria, yes.
We are eating good. I already finished my food. I'm not going to show you all the scraps. Yes.
Hey, y'all, hey.
How are you? How are you guys?
Guys got any questions about what's
Yes, it is so delicious.
right
Oh, somebody recognized that they said GTC with a fire symbol. Yeah, this is actually my first time in GTC. I didn't even know this existed before Kia suggested it. And it's delicious. 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Morning, the shadows are good.
Waking up in Baltimore. Okay, but Baltimore, I see you. DMV.
Yeah,
I actually visited Baltimore and I loved it. Have y'all been to Baltimore?
Yes,
Yes, I loved it.
Why PP Bob say baby girl once dated girl from Raleigh, North Carolina, babe, thick and lovely and homely. Are you talking about the girl you once dated, or are you talking about Thea? Thea Raleigh.
I live in Charlotte,
but
I'm loving it in Sioki now.
yes, we are in Nairobi at the GTC.
no, we're not celebrating. We just leave it.
Showing us
Out.
love.
Right outside. I mean, they out.
Celebrating life. Eating good food.
Which you guys celebrate.
Celebrating life. Yes.
Somebody asked, would you recommend moving to Kenya?
Yes, I would.
And why?
Amazing destination, beautiful culture, good food, beautiful people, and I love immersing myself. And Kenya culture is very diverse, so you can travel throughout Kenya for months and still touch so many different cultures and not even get bored. So yes, what's not to love?
What's the weather like? Let me show y'all.
What's not to love? Yes. Thank you. They said we're looking good. Thank you. Yes. We made your day. Thank you. Yes, you made our day.
To be honest with you, it is Nairobi winter.
Bye, Nathaniel.
However,
I'll see you later.
yesterday, today was no big jacket, so it feels like it's about 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right, this is not a dating channel and this is not Bible study.
Interesting. The interesting thing about Nairobi weather,
Africa is the
it's like a
future.
20-degree difference between morning and evening.
She is.
You see that?
Yeah.
Really?
Thank you,
Saying somebody is
Nathaniel.
gorgeous behind us. I need to see.
Look at how beautiful and lush this bar is.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It
somebody
didn't
get
get
him
a
out
whole
of
lot of
there.
traction, but this is amazing. Oh, you
Yeah. Yeah, start
check you
getting
guys
some
back.
moderators.
Yeah.
Get him out of there.
Yeah. There's always trolls.
My mods is getting him out of there.
Trending Globe says, say hello to Wakesho.
Hey.
okay, yeah, that's what he was saying.
What?
So he was saying that
Hey.
he dated someone in Raleigh and she was thick and lovely.
Okay.
Or he reminiscing.
Why you trying to put me out there? Why you trying to put me out there? No, I'm just saying. It's great to see black women engage in healthy relationships. Enjoy. Oh,
We're all online, all networking.
Damn, you got
This is what we do. Yes, the R&B is on point.
right.
Somebody else said Wakesho is the GOAT. She is the GOAT.
Thank
Yes.
you.
The GOAT.
Greetings from KC Kia. I know you were here relatively recently. I was.
So how have you guys been? How's your Sunday? So yes, last night I went to the Lua Fest. It was amazing. I have a video coming up for that very soon. Once in a lifetime. And yeah, 10 out of 10. I would recommend. And I do plan on going next year too. Have you guys been?
No.
Yeah. The Lua Fest. Yeah, it's just traditional Lua music. Also, Calligraph was there.
Oh,
yeah, so he performed.
Like the biggest rapper in India.
Yeah, and I used Luo too, so he was there. Music was a vibe, food was good. They had traditional food, of course. Samosas, drinks were good. Yeah, they had VIP, VVIP, so it was popping. It was at Hoodoo Gardens. Yeah,
right there.
Yeah. So right down the street. It's like probably about like 20 minutes from here, maybe 10 or less.
It's close to Carnival.
Yeah. So it was a vibe.
Y'all see how pretty she is? I got it on you.
Okay, so that's my friend.
How are you guys doing? Happy Sunday.
Y'all say hi, say hi.
Luos are the West African men of Kenya. I keep hearing that.
That is true. That's true.
Okay, hold on. I do have a question, y'all. So Yellow Maze says, my friend has kids in the school system in Kenya and they are struggling bad. Is the school system really different? It would be
They having a school system where?
I have heard of
struggling bad here in Kenya.
Because of the school system in the states up. They came from states?
Yeah.
Because most of my clients who have kids, they do bad here.
Every
It's
tribe
tougher.
in Kenya has its own festival. Okay, because I was wanting to go to some, I was wanting to go to some more, but where do I find out, when their festival
Yeah,
is?
you know what?
Because I would like to go
playing,
to Kikui,
But I was like, yeah, can we please play some soulful music?
Put 22 in the comment section. 22 in the comment
So
section.
how do I
See
find out about the other festivals?
if the comment section is still going
Because
on.
a friend told me about Lua Fest, and it was
Wow.
about.
I hate that our school system in the U.S. is so bad that our kids
22 in the comment section.
Yeah, I have heard of them having to take a grade back, go back a grade in Kenya.
It's all over.
I have heard of some kids, like American kids, having to go back a grade when they come to Kenya. Yeah, because the school system here is no joke.
Which one you asking about?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough.
Conga
who-
Fest,
somebody
Kiki
asked-
Fest. I'm gonna look those up.
Who travel a lot?
I
Both
would
of
like
them
to go to
travel a
Kiki
lot.
Fest.
Let's ask this. So you travel a lot. Just give us a background of all the places you've been to. Y'all, we got 34 people in, and I need to see 34 lights. Let's go.
Period.
Let's go. Lights.
And a
Let's
super
just talk
share.
Africa
Yeah.
right now. Went to school in Ghana. Went to Burkina Faso for the Best Paco Film Festival. Went to Morocco just for chicks. Worked in South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe. Now we're here in Kenya. Also lived in Zanzibar, Tanzania. Oh my gosh. I've also been
She
to
subscribed.
Ethiopia. So I've been to quite a few places. Also the Caribbean. Obviously North America. We got Mexico in there. Yeah,
That's a blessing.
yeah, it is a blessing to be able to travel.
And you started so early. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I started out when I was in high school. Sorry, not high school. I started out when I was in college. And our university had all these foreign exchange programs for Europe and Australia, but none for Africa. And I kept waiting for them to put up a poster advertising to study abroad in Africa. And it never happened. So I found my way to the International Studies Department. And it was a closet. It was literally a closet. And the lady just put her head down and she was like, I'm sorry to say, we don't have a study abroad program for Africa. But they literally created one for me.
Wow.
And that's how I ended up, first of all, in Zimbabwe. I was supposed to start out in Malawi, but then they had like political uprisings in Malawi and they said they didn't want me to go. They were attacking foreign students. I was like, but I'm black. They're not going to attack me. So I ended up in Zimbabwe doing international human rights work, repatriating Mozambique refugees.
Wow.
Worked in South Africa. Now y'all know I'm dating myself. International Truth and Reconciliation Commission. This is right after Mandela was released.
Oh my God.
But to be honest with you, I don't keep track of the places that I travel because it's not about numbers. It's really just about like a place moving me or a place calling me. That's how I end up moving around.
That's wisdom right there.
Beautiful, yes. 'Cause you can't get caught up in country counting.
No.
Yes.
And you travel quite a bit. I find her travel quite interesting because Rochelle really immersed and she does like the backpack and
Street food.
man, I'm telling you. So like could you tell them why how you even started?
Yeah, so I moved abroad when I was 18 years old. I moved to Italy and for a work assignment, and I wasn't even aware of like the scope of travel. I wasn't even aware that all these countries existed. You know, I was visiting cities and countries I never even knew existed. And at 18, I wasn't travel conscious, you know, of course.
Yeah.
I was working abroad. That was my first time abroad. But as the years went on, I started taking a look around and realizing, wait, these people are treated differently from these people. For example, when I lived in Italy, I realized that African immigrants were treated differently than I was being treated, you know, working for my American company. And so that started to open my eyes, and I started to like travel more consciously and really prioritize like immersing in the culture, you know? So that's what kind of opened my eyes and realized if I'm gonna travel, I need to be boots on the ground, immersing in the culture, no resorts, you know, maybe like for very special occasions, but for the most part, no resorts. Like, you know, I need to get in there, and that's where the way I travel started to change and evolve, like into what it is now, where I love going out into cultures, like trying their street foods, trying like, you know, all their unique types of foods that they have, talking to people, like getting people's perspectives, being curious, you know, because travel is knowledge, travel is education. Yeah, so that's where my journey started.
It's your university for sure. I always say
Yeah,
that.
you have to be curious.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you've learned from traveling?
The biggest thing that I learned is that we have so much more in common than not. Like every continent that I visited, every country that I visited, like there were so many different replications of what I've seen, even growing up in the United States. Like we are, humans in general, are so much more connected than we could ever imagine.
Yep.
Yeah, especially Black people traveling in Africa specifically, I started recognizing how our food is so similar, like our music, our dance is so similar, and we all influence each other's cultures. Like seeing Black American culture look, this song playing now. Like, you know, seeing Black American culture all throughout the continent was like a beautiful feeling, and that's what I loved about it. Yeah.
Okay, so you and I both lived in Europe.
Yeah.
I lived in Mallorca, Spain, and New York
Yeah, so I lived in Europe for 3 years, and like that was enough for me, And I wanted to escape like the imperialism, like, and so I felt like going to Europe was also going back into that imperialistic society. Also, I wanted to distance myself from the racism and discrimination as well, and so moving to Europe would have been taking a step back. So like I just wanted the peace that I have now, where I can walk out of my house, I can go out and about, and I don't have to worry about racism or discrimination, like, because I'm around people that look like me and share so many similarities to me, and also appreciate my culture in a lot of ways. And
So
yeah, that's
I
big.
found that when I lived in Mallorca, somebody called me a black or some shit like that, which means black bitch.
Right.
And in their defense, like this random Spanish couple behind me, they chased after the car and everything. So where were you in Europe, and how did racism touch you?
Yeah, so I think that I was very fortunate enough to be working in Sicily. Yeah, a little city
them is
called
Negroes.
Catania.
Yes,
Yeah,
them is
Catania,
Negroes.
Sicily.
Yeah.
And I thank God every day
Yeah,
that
no,
I was
Sicily
in that,
is
because I
Negroes.
think that is like probably the city in Europe that appreciates Black people the most. Like, yeah, and I think
the black Negroes like the Irish.
and a lot of them acknowledge their roots, like
Yes,
their African
correct,
ancestry. So I feel extremely grateful. I did experience like fetishization, which a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it, but it is a form of racism. Yeah. Like one time I was walking down the street, this was in Rome, I was walking down the street eating an ice cream cone, and like a man was making like, sexual comments, degrading comments, men calling me like, saying, obscene things, like obscene comments.
And Rome.
Yeah. And so it was like throughout, the country. And so fetishization is something that I guess some people don't take it very seriously, but it's racism.
Because they used to try in Spain, like men would try to just touch you,
Right.
down and touch you. I didn't like that.
Yeah. And so I will say, I acknowledge my American privilege. Living in Europe is when my eyes were open to my American privilege, because it is a privilege to be protected by your American passport, because I did see that a lot of African immigrants were living a completely different life than me. And even at 18, that's when I started to question the world and question things that I never really questioned before,
And even here, there's a level of privilege that we get being American, where we could walk into spaces and meet someone a Kenyan would never meet a day of their life, or have opportunities to be able to initiate things that most of our Kenyan counterparts don't necessarily have those opportunities. So that's why I always say conscious commerce and trade, and just being aware of our privilege of living here in Kenya. I think for you, Miss Toddré, excuse me, since you've been living here, what are some of the downsides? What's some of the downsides?
He said we're dropping knowledge. Thank you,
Thank you.
Can I get some likes from my people in here, please?
Let's get some lights. We got
Hello, everybody.
What we got? We got 36 here. What y'all got?
Right. I got 10.
I don't even know where to look for likes.
And I got 10 likes.
Oh, I have 14 likes. We got
14,
32 people in here.
Now.
Yes.
48, 50, 49. So let's get the lights up. Let's get the lights up, family.
Oh, 13 now. Okay.
I see.
Thank
Let's
you.
get the
Thank
lights
you
up.
guys for the likes. Wanachi.
Women exhibit
What's
brains
up?
and beauty. What are your recommendations for immersion in the culture without the fear that people try to transfer to you about exploring on your own? That's a good
I don't even know
one.
that. Wait, say that again.
People projecting their fear.
Yep. So she said, what are your recommendations for immersing in the culture without the fears that people try to transfer to you about exploring on your own?
You answer
So
that
what she
one.
said. Okay.
Because I'm a little confused.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Were you done with that? I didn't know.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great question. I would say For me, my experience was a little different because I moved abroad and it's like it was for work, and so I was just pushed into a different world.
But you still made the decision to take a job abroad.
Yeah, I did make that decision, and I wanted that. Yeah,
Right, so you can speak to that because
right.
you still were immersing in something outside the norm.
Yeah. And I think that for me, that was just, I've always been a very curious person, And one thing that as I've traveled throughout these years, I've just received like a constant affirmation that what I see on social media and the news does not reflect reality. Like it just simply doesn't. I've seen it time and time again, and once you see so many confirmations like that, you just start to realize, okay, media is just not showing the reality of the situation. Like even if there's like, for example, I don't know, a demonstration in a certain city, the media would make it look 10 times worse than it is, but then on the ground, we're here living, and our experience is completely different. So it's like seeing that throughout the world, like what they taught me was not true, how like certain countries were perceived in media was not true. Just kind of, it's like a muscle. It strengthened my muscle of like courage, because I do think courage is a muscle.
That's true.
And even if you're nervous to travel solo, I would say maybe start with the staycation. Start small. Maybe go to the next state over, or the next town over, and build up that muscle of courage.
Okay, so where are we? Can you tell us about this restaurant that we at?
Let me see if they answer back what you said. Okay.
Actually at FTC.
No, GTC, Global Trade Center.
We're at the Global Trade Center
Here in Westland.
Thank you,
as
the
can
scale.
see.
Thank you.
This is the western part of Nairobi. Nairobi has different sectors of the city.
And life is a
So
journey.
you have the southern part, the western, eastland,
People want you to stay
part of Nairobi, and we're
That
in
is so true.
Westland at the Global Trade Center. And this beautiful restaurant, yes.
That's a great question. Maybe I should make a video about that.
He said,
I will say I appreciate the infrastructure in Nairobi because
I love that. That is a concept.
Realize that, like, in Nairobi, we're kind of spoiled.
We did jump on here as content creators, man.
South Africa aside, South Africa is very developed, but outside of big cities in South Africa, you really start to see that, like, infrastructure is a blessing.
Let's get the lights up, guys.
Amazing infrastructure.
Let's get the lights
that I
up.
took for granted before I left. And yeah, so I'd say that's one thing.
Wow,
that I
but you could do it on your own.
Like even things from like apps, like rideshare apps. There were some countries that I went to that didn't have Uber.
Right, exactly.
Some countries
That's
I
a
went
great
to
idea.
That, like, it
They
wasn't
said
always
his
easy
idea
to
is
find
great.
food at all hours of the day. Some countries, I had to walk like 10, 15 minutes just to be able to find a ride, find a taxi. So like those type of things like really made me appreciate my life here in America. Yeah. Would you ladies like some more sangria?
Let me drink.
Excuse me.
Y'all, let's get the lights up. How come we got 17 and we got now 44 people in here? Let's go. Let's go. Let's get the lights up, family. We giving y'all good content over here.
Yeah.
Let's get a super chat. Okay, let me turn this one.
Yeah.
Okay, the music popping.
Right. You took that feedback.
Right. Ready or not, here I come. You
Yes,
can't
I'll make a
hide.
video. Yes, just
And
for
gonna
you.
find
Watching
you
from my grandmother's
and
8 hectares. Wow.
Hey.
Okay, I see you. That's amazing. 8 hectares?
Oh, I can't hear you say everybody is talking.
Okay.
You got a little too excited.
We're in Kenya.
Right.
My cousin's like, what country are you in?
In Kenya.
Okay, so one person at a time.
Okay, I'm gonna be quiet.
But what was that one
shit, I
question
done
you
cut
asked
mine
me?
About the fear mindset or the projection of
Oh
fear.
yeah, there we
The
go.
projection.
Yeah.
I
Who's
think
answering
that
it?
the biggest thing for me is discovering a place without other people's biases, because I find that people are accustomed to doing the same thing their way.
Yeah.
For instance, when I was in Zanzibar, I was like, how do I pay for my electricity, etc., because it's a prepaid, whereas in the US it's a postpaid. And so my friend was like, you need to come into town, which was an hour on public transportation, then go to the physical office, blah, blah, blah. So I get to town and I find out I could have did all this on my phone. But because he's so used to a certain way, so then you'll find like people will be like, oh, you cannot do X, Y, and Z because that has been their personal experience. But for me, it's like I absolutely can, and the doors are open for me. And but then also some of that has to do with privilege as well, the privilege of that passport, etc.
That's a good way to look at that.
And so what are some ways that you recognize your privilege and then use it to like lessen the impact of imperialism? Because we didn't choose, to be American or African American, but we do have the privilege. So do you think it's your responsibility to
I do.
Lessen the impact?
I definitely do. I would love to speak on that. Yes, we do have privilege, and I talked about this in one of my episodes, right? So my personal feeling is that foreign blacks have more privilege. So for you to come to my country as a foreign black, you will have more privilege than me, the local black.
That's true.
Now I come to your country, I have more privilege, more doors open up for me as a foreign black. I literally had a Chinese shopkeeper in South Africa tell me, you're not like these other blacks. You're clean, you're well spoken, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, I absolutely am black. Don't get it twisted. But one of the ways that I combat that is through my tours. Because when you come, I do fashion art tours. So when you come on my tours, I'm going to advocate for you. I'm going to make sure you don't get taken advantage of. But I'm also not going to nickel and dime my partner. And I'm also going to bring you business. I know retail, so I know there are some days when you don't make money. But if I bring you a client that spends 5,000 shillings, which is the equivalent to like $45, or my client spends $3,000 with you, because I have some high-end partners, then that can make your day, that can make your month. So that's kind of how I try to smooth that out.
Yeah, that's a great answer, great answer.
Kia?
What about you, Miss Kia?
Now I'm filling my mouth up.
Okay, no problem. How's the lamb chops? Luxury lamb chops.
Y'all, I'm over here eating like, girl, not even
Like a
luxury.
queen.
How and when did you meet each other?
Hey, Mark. Thank you.
Okay, when did we meet? Can you tell? It was a whole ordeal. Go ahead.
You want me to tell?
Yes, please. Why finish yours?
Okay, so the question is, how did we meet? So I went to a networking event of African diasporans, right? So it's everybody in there, all black folks from all over the world, including Kenyans. And I saw Kia, and I had recognized her from her content. And she came over and she was so bubbly. And that's when I was just like, you know what? I like her, and I like her immediately. She was like, we need to work together. It wasn't about competition. Then Kia interviewed Rochelle. And she was like, okay, Rochelle wants to meet you. And so now I'm meeting Rochelle for the first time over food.
Long overdue. Yeah. Beautiful spirit, beautiful energy.
Yes. How did we meet, Rochelle? I think I reached out to you, yeah?
Yes, you reached out to me. I was excited to hear from you, and we just developed a relationship, business relationship, friendship.
We
Here
spent the whole day,
right.
the same situation.
Our first time meeting, we spent the entire day together. So it was amazing.
And cousin Rochelle is from Indiana.
Yes, Indiana, 317.
You know.
Yes. So everything was serendipity. Like, it was amazing the way everything is like unfolded.
Ooh, this is off topic, but I think we could kind of speak to it.
And I think I would thank Kia for uniting a lot of the African Americans together. Yeah, at least from my perspective, because I didn't see any of us uniting at high levels before. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't see any of us like collaborating.
I don't know if I'm gonna take all that credit, but I think I contribute a little bit. But it takes all of us to be open-minded and what is it, transparent.
Yeah.
Transparent. I think that's the key. I think you said one time, I love how, first off, I love how your brain works. She's like, I'm not going to do anything that I don't want to do. And even with us working with each other, she was like, I'm going to make it make sense for me. And I'm all about collaborating, but I also got to be true to me. That is what I can respect that. You know what I mean? And even she did the same thing. She's like, listen, I can't do 3-4 posts a month and a week. I can't do it.
Hey,
I'm not going to be able to dedicate my time to it. I responded back. She said, oh, okay, well then I'll be able to do such and such. But the honesty and the transparency is, I think, what we lack when we're building relationships with each other. Because we feel like if I collaborate, then I have to just collaborate and be all in while compromising yourself. And then that's where we see problematic issues happening when we're not transparent and real with each other. Like, sis, I rock with you. I'll collaborate with you all day, but I ain't gonna be able to do ABC. Now that's that. I love what you're doing. I want to be a part of it, but I gotta be honest and true to myself. So I respect that from the both of you, for sure.
Okay, so Kia has been coming back and forth to Kenya for 14 years, correct?
Yeah.
And then for Rochelle, you've been here for 1 year?
1 year, yes. I visited last April for the first time, and then I moved here last September. Yeah, so a few months after, I was like, yeah, Kenya's it.
Why not? She says this is beautiful to see sisters living their best life.
Yes, absolutely.
On a Sunday.
Hey, Daniel, how are you?
We got sangria, guys.
All right, y'all. So,
What you got? You got another question over there?
Hey, Nature Waves, how are you? How are you guys doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hope you're enjoying the conversation and the vibes and the music.
so enjoy your Sunday.
You want some water?
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right. Auntie got to eat.
You're done.
Right.
Wow, I got 3 new subscribers.
Oh, wow.
How you know that?
After you exit.
Oh.
Yes.
Girl.
I do want to start going live more, but it's hard for me to do it alone.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
That's why,
Oh, to find something to talk about, right?
girl, I get on live. We got 53. 53 people up
So
here
because
because I
they're used
just
to you
jump
going
on.
live.
Yeah, I just jump
Okay.
on. Even if I'm by myself eating,
Uh-huh.
I jump on. People want to see your experience too, just your everyday
Life.
Yeah.
Your personality.
And one person told me that they get the professional me when I do interviews.
Oh, yeah.
It's very,
Right.
but they said they love the way that I do interviews, but we want to see the real you.
Right.
So my lives, you get to see the real me.
The real you got.
I literally just turn it on. I be at my bed at home talking. They drive with me to the airport to pick up the gas. They see all of it.
Wow. So I do need to start going live.
Yeah, just go live. Can 200K buy a nice house?
I do have a bit of a sweet tooth.
Yeah, depending on where you want to live.
How are you guys doing? Happy Sunday.
Yeah, depending on where you want to live, you can get something really nice for 200K. Yes.
Yes.
You can get the land and the house.
Right.
We can assist you with that too. But yeah, you can get the land and the house a little bit maybe outside of Nairobi, but yeah, that's more than enough.
I do have a sweet tooth, but come now. Y'all don't wait. Don't wait.
I would like to order maybe some. I saw some chocolate waffles on the menu.
200K, you ain't gonna be able to find. You ain't gonna be able to build in Nairobi, no way. And they don't do houses in Nairobi. Like, where we at, Westlands, Kilimani, Philadelphia, all that, you know? But Runda, Karen Lynn, Riverside, Parklands even.